Welcome back. We're continuing on chapter 43. I have distracting children. Chapter 43, and this is part 2, and we're going to start by communication. I tried to fill up all the little window boxes. Could I please have the dark shirted bio buddy lead the way on talking through these, what it involves? Go ahead. So then I just threw a little high because I had one more box and I couldn't think of something. Okay. So this is a back and forth, right? This is a back and forth on this signal. So there are different types of communication. And in fact, let me get you first on your introduction. No. Yes. Social behaviors for animal communication. Social behaviors for reproduction, raising offspring, and hunting. Communication is an action by a sender. An action by a sender that may influence the behavior of a receiver. An action by a sender that may influence the behavior of a receiver. All right, so one form of communication is chemical communication. And if you have a dog, you know, all they do is sniff, right? That is a form of communication. He is spraying. And so this would be a chemical signal. Now, some chemical signals, it could be like blood in the water if you are a what? Shark, right? And it can be detected in such small amounts, but that's all they need because they have a what? Receptor for it, all right? And so for chemical communication, figure it out. It is, do you think chemical communication works day, night, or both? Both, exactly. So it's effective both day and night. And then a pheromone is a chemical signal in low concentration that is passed between members of the same species. Now, you may be able to smell a pheromone. Like your cat could be in heat and you could smell it. Like there's a different smell. Okay? And that aroma from a mouse is in heat, like a 2-mile radius. All the other mice are like, I hear someone. Oh, not here. I smell someone. Okay? And then they'll go running towards that smell. So you may be able to detect it. It just doesn't mean the same thing to you. And then example, female moths attract males. Cats mark territory with urine. Antelopes mark twigs with eye gland secretions. Vomeronasal, okay, VNO organ in the nose of mice and humans that detect pheromones. And it's directly connected to your hypothalamus, and your hypothalamus is the junction between your nervous system and your endocrine system. Sitting below your hypothalamus is your pituitary gland, if you've heard of that. Okay? So that's a form of chemical communication. Auditory communication. Now, obviously that's sound, okay? Now, there are amazing sounds that are made by birds or other organisms, but humans are actually the best at making sounds. And so I want to play you a little video about that.
Dog. Cat. American robin. Cricket. Owl.
She's really good. I'm doing this so it won't log us out.
Wolf. Peacock. Horse. Elephant. Cow. Sheep.
Wave your hand in front of that.
Duck.
There we go.
Goose.
Or
Morning dove. Kookaburra. Monkey. Monkey. And parrot.
Isn't that cool?
Oh my god, wait.
All right.
Right?
Where did I get it? I think if you Google girl imitating animals, it'll come up because I think it's pretty popular. All right, so auditory communication, is that day, night, or both? What do you think? Both. Sound, doesn't matter if it's day or night. Faster or slower than chemical?
Faster.
Faster, exactly. Okay, so auditory communication is faster than chemical communication, effective day and night. Can be modified by loudness, pattern, duration, and repetition. Your example about male crickets, could the youngest bio buddy please explain that?
Male crickets call voices have many different sounds, and some of them many different ways.
So if you're just joining us now, there was a part 1 to this video on behavioral ecology. And in part 1, we talked about experiments supporting innate behavior, and then we talked about learned behavior. So that was an important first piece to this discussion. All right. Now, you can, if you mix 2 signals in together, it can even be more hyper-specific and more likely to reach your target effectively because you have to understand 2 different codes, right? Auditory and visual. Do you think that this dog, what is this dog communicating if you could hear what he's doing? He's barking, right? But look, his ears are back. He's got some hair up. I would say this says fear or anger, right? This is what we can do. So here's another one I want to show you.
These are howler monkeys. Their habitat spans from southern Mexico to northern Argentina.
I'm doing this so it won't vlog us out.
Hard to believe that such small animals can make a sound that's like a combination air raid siren and heavy metal guitar solo. The fact is, howler monkeys are considered to be among the loudest animals on Earth. Well, you be the judge. Howler monkeys have what's called a hyoid bone in their throats that serves as a kind of amplifier. Plus, their semi-saggy throat pouches further amplify their orations. Why do they howl like this? Only the males howl. They probably do it to let other howlers know where they are. They're very territorial, so the howl is as much keep away as it is here I am. Howlers live in the canopies of trees, feasting on leaves, flowers, buds, and fruits. They have long prehensile tails that are used as a kind of fifth hand to help them identify things. They can weigh up to about 15 pounds and sleep up to 15 hours a day, which is good news for their jungle neighbors. I mean, you wouldn't want this going on 24/7.
I
It'd
wouldn't.
drive you crazy.
It would. Okay. It's not even that bad, is that what you're saying?
No, it's not even that loud in the video. It's not really the loudest answer.
Oh, I don't have it up very loud either. It's Mel's Hidden Talent, that video. Mel's Hidden Talent. That's the name of it. All right.
It's not natural.
And then, did it say natural?
No, I said it's not natural.
Oh,
To be able to do
the
that.
next one is tactile communication, and tactile is touch, but I think I owe you a few notes. On visual, did I give you that one? No. Visual communication is most often used by species that are active during the day. And complex courtship behaviors and exaggerated displays, so the meaning is clear. Tactile communication is about touch. Information is passed from one animal to another by touch. Example, grooming, combing, and the waggle dance with bees, which tells, and I'm going to go back to that one because I want to show it to you first. This is the tactile, you understand that. If you're in it, let's say you were somewhere with your mom and you were doing something you shouldn't do, your mom might grab your arm and what? Squeeze it, you know? Or try to kick you under the table or something. That's tactile communication, right? But grooming is a form of tactile. It's a form of creating community. So there's other purposes with it besides just the communication. But the bee dance, I love the bee dance. And it's called the waggle dance. And bees are able to communicate two things. Exactly where the food is located at any given point. Okay, and let me explain how they do this. When they do this dance, you think of somebody performing a dance that it would be visual, right? You would watch the dancer, but they don't. They touch the dancer in this situation. Now keep in mind, inside the beehive, it's going to be what? Dark, okay? And so they need to communicate where that food is. So what they do is they do their little dance on the vertical inside of a beehive, on the up and down. And all the other bees gather around and touch the dancer doing the dance in order to interpret the dance. It is an interpretive dance. And in this case, if your beehive was right here, let's say it was in a box, you can see where the direction of the sun is and where the direction of the food is. And so when he does his little waggle dance, he does it at the same angle. If he had gone straight up the hive, if he went this way, when he did his waggles and then came around, that would mean fly directly towards the sun. But do you see this angle here is the same angle here? You got that? Okay. Now, the second thing it's able to communicate is through its waggles, the number of waggles it does. And this is species specific. For one bee, maybe each waggle means 2 meters of distance. Maybe for another bee, it means 3 meters of distance. Okay, so you know where your orientation is, right, to fly, and then also how far you need to fly in that direction. Now, riddle me this, discuss with BioBuddy. Would this dance be the same at 8 in the morning and noon? And explain your answer. Do that to your BioBuddy right now.
No.
Would the dance be the same? No. Why would the dance need to change? The sun moves. So which part of the dance would change? The direction. Would the number of waggles change? No, because that hasn't changed. So discuss with your BioBuddy, what does this mean if this is the dance? What would that mean? Discuss with your BioBuddy.
Sun is a bit like to the left, but the flower is just like straight up.
It's straight up.
This means come out of the hive and fly what? Not straight towards the sun, away from the sun, right? Because I came down like this, right? And I went around and I came down like this. So that means, yeah, because straight up means fly towards the sun, right? Straight down means fly away from the sun. So it's the angle to the sun. So this would mean fly away from the sun, and depending on how many waggles that were in there, that would be species specific on how far to fly in that direction. So on your notes, for tactile, you want to have the waggle dance with bees, which tells both direction and distance. Direction and distance. Okay, and then I'm just tossing in your circadian rhythms. Were your circadian rhythms altered this week?
Yes.
Yes, why? Time change, right? So it makes it hard for you to go to bed because it's like you're going to bed an hour earlier, and it makes it hard for you to get up. When you go to the bathroom, okay, that is also hinged on circadian rhythms. When you become what? Hungry. Maybe you're not as hungry as lunch because it's like you're eating lunch an hour earlier, right? So those are all part of your 24-hour clock. So on biological clock, internal means of telling time requires alteration in the expression of a gene called, and the name of the gene is called period gene, the period gene. Best out of 3, rock, paper, scissors, go. Okay, pass or play, and talk about the period gene. Go ahead.
I'll do it. Okay, so period gene. So genetic basis of biological clock. Some non-functional period are characteristic. So the period was the first clock gene discovered based on mutation of the emergence pattern. Period was so named due to other alleles that produced and reverse rhythm of periods.
So this is emerging like out of a cocoon. That's your emergence here. It's not like being woke or something. Okay, now, animals, there's a gene, right? So it's your biological clock, your circadian rhythms. Can they be reset? Yeah, they can be reset. Plants do the same thing because plants have to know when to what? Flower. Okay, and we'll be talking, I don't know if I will be, it has to do, again, not with the length, did we talk about this once before? Not with the length of the day, but with the length of the night is what, that's how flowers, I talked about that, right? Yeah. Okay, good. All right, here you go. So you have 4 questions. Again, those of you at home, if you want to join us, you just need to go to hellosmart.com. It's right there on the screen, and then you can enter in this code right here, and then you can play along with us. Now, that only works playing along with us if you're doing this live today with us on Wednesday morning at 9:56, right? Otherwise, it's not going to work because the game will be turned off. I don't think eat is playing anymore. Let's go sleep and eat. All those things sound wonderful to me right now. Playing games, are you still playing games? We want you to play games with us. What? They spelled sleep and eat wrong? Oh, they did. They did that on purpose. They were trying to be their own sleep and eat. They were owning their sleep and eatedness. All right, let's check it out. Okay. So, question number 1, behavior related to defending a particular area, which is often used for the purpose of feeding, mating, and caring for young. That's territoriality. That is not associative learning. You're not associating one thing with another. Okay, so check with your bio buddy. Shame, or support. Can you help them? Are you shaming him? Okay, number 2. A chemical substance secreted into the environment by one organism that may influence the behavior of another is a pheromone. Again, not associative learning, and not, I mean, is it communication? Is this a form of communication? Yes. So this is one of those things where it looks like more than one thing could work, so you always have to choose the best answer, right? And so this is specifically saying a chemical substance secreted into the environment. That's why you would pick a pheromone, because is all communication a chemical substance? No. No. All right. Next, number 3, yowza. Social interaction that benefits others but has the potential to decrease the oh, you haven't learned this yet. Yeah. This is did you get ready for class today type of question. Okay, and that is altruism. So this is something coming up, and had you looked over your notes, you would know the answer to that question right now. It is altruism. Okay, tell your bio buddy, did you get that one right? Did you prepare for class today or not? And then number 4, a signal by a sender that may influence the behavior of another, that is communication. Is imprinting a signal? No, I wouldn't classify that as a signal. Tell your bio buddy, how did you do on that? Be honest. All right. Now, what this is all coming back to is, remember, we can look at things underneath the umbrella of natural selection, right? We did that all last unit. This unit is all about ecology, right? And in this case, we're talking about behavioral ecology. Could my oldest bio buddy explain behavioral ecology? You should have no problem with this. Go ahead.
Study how natural selection shapes behavior.
Why would a trait be selected for? To increase what? Fitness. Always to increase fitness. It's always about passing your DNA along. So behavioral ecology is what kind of behaviors do we have that increase our fitness? So one of those, oh, and do I owe you a note on that? Yes, I do. The study of how natural selection shapes behavior. The study of how natural selection shapes behavior. Okay, and then certain behaviors have a what type of basis then? Genetic basis, and and certain behaviors lead to increased survival and production of offspring, which is related to fitness. Therefore, behaviors observed today must have an adaptive value. Must have an adaptive value. So, one of you explained behavioral ecology. I would like the other bio buddy to explain foraging behavior. What is foraging behavior? Go ahead.
We're just kidding. It's compromised for the benefits of nutrition and the cost of
So why is this a good example? Yeah, are they more likely to get a deer if that's where all the deer cross the road? Yes. Okay, now you have to think about foraging behavior. Do lions search for slugs to eat? No, they don't. Okay, because the cost-benefit analysis based on the size of their body, that's not a good way for them to get nutrition. They need to use their resources together collectively to hunt down larger game so they can get all the nutrition they need. Okay, a lot of what an organism acts and does is all based on what they eat. So on your first one on that, a territory is a portion of an animal's range that it defends for its exclusive use, which may be eating. Okay. Did the bell ring early? Oh, my bad. We'll pick up there next time. I hope you're having a great day. I need to update my clocks, clearly.